Okay, would the clerk please read the introduction?
Thank you, Mayor. In accordance with the applicable statutes of the State of Illinois and the ordinances of the City of Prospect Heights, notice is hereby given that the City Council meeting of the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Prospect Heights is being held on Monday, July 10th, 2023, at 6:30 p.m. in person in the City Council Chambers, Prospect Heights City Hall, 8 North Elmhurst Road, Prospect Heights, Illinois. Mayor Patrick Lovickson resigning. This meeting will be broadcast live and on cable channels Comcast and Astound RCN Channel 17 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99. It will also be recorded and televised on Comcast and Astound RCN Channel 17, AT&T UVerse Channel 99. Attendees who wish to speak on agenda or non-agenda items will be provided with an opportunity during the meeting. There is a 5-minute time limit for speakers.
Okay, I call the meeting to order. If the clerk can take roll, please.
Okay, we have Alderman Dash and Treasurer Tibbetts and City Clerk Prajajnuk are out with previous notification. Mayor Lovickson,
Here.
Alderman Cameron,
Here.
Alderman Anderson,
Here.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Here.
Alderman Dolick.
Here.
Okay, if we could stand for the pledge. Okay, item 3, approval of minutes. If everybody's had a chance to review them, I'd look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. We have no presentations, nor do we have any appointments, confirmations, or proclamations. Does the clerk have anybody who requested to speak for agenda matters?
No one has requested.
Okay, anybody? Okay, we're good. Item 7, the consent agenda. We have no items on the consent agenda. This is going to be a fast meeting. Old business, item O2318, business request and ordinance to increase the number of C1 liquor licenses for Lily's Taste. This is the second reading for approval. We need a motion to approve.
So moved, Morgan Adams.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? We're hearing none. Roll call, please.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Motion passes. Congratulations. Thank you. Item 9, new business. A, request of waiver of first reading for item O2320, staff memo and ordinance granting certain variations, reducing the required corner side yard for the property at 200 West Willow Road. This is the first reading, and it's a request to waive first reading. So I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Okay, item B would be the second reading for ordinance O2320, a staff memo and ordinance granting certain variations, reducing the required corner side yard for the property at 200 West Willow Road. This is the second reading. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Mayor Ludwigson, may I?
Sure.
With this, the applicant, Steve Peterson, is here this evening. Just to give him a little kudos, he prepared the whole packet as presented for you tonight. So I want to give him thanks publicly for the excellent job at presenting his case. Additionally, there was one condition the ZBA did that the applicant was in favor of, and that was limiting the overall height of the fence to 4 feet in the style that stays chain link. So that would run with the life of the variation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I drove by this weekend too to see where it was going, and it's, I don't even think anybody will see it, right? It's behind all the trees that are there already and right in line, so I was at that ZBA meeting just by chance, and very good presentation. Thank you very much. So we have a first and second on the second reading. No questions, anybody else? With that, can we get a roll call?
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. And then Steve, you'll contact him and
Yes.
you'll be able to start.
Permit will be ready shortly. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Item C, 02321, it's a staff memo and ordinance approving a special use permit for a sit-down restaurant, Fortune's Cafe at 1313 Unit A, North Rand Road, Prospect Heights. This is the first reading for this. Since it is a first reading, there is no action required. If you don't mind coming to the microphone here, if anybody has any questions for you.
Sure, thank you.
State your name and,
Yeah, sure. Hello, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for providing an opportunity to present our case. My name is Snehal Thacker. I am from Fortune's Cafe. I live in Schaumburg, Illinois.
okay.
If you could just speak up a little bit louder.
Sure, I will do
I'm
that.
sorry, I'm deaf. I'm getting
Yeah.
old.
So my name is Snehal Thacker, and I am from Schaumburg, Illinois. And we are very pleased to open a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant in Prospect Heights with all your permissions.
Anybody have questions? I do. You knew these were coming?
What kind of restaurant what kind of food will you be serving?
So we have a special vegetarian menu, which includes sandwiches, wraps, pizzas, and soup. So
Okay.
it's a very unique, different kind of a menu we have. And the menu has been present in our application. Yeah.
I have a few questions. I went to your website, and I didn't see any other locations that advertise about the food and any theme of food that you have. Can you tell us about another restaurant and the theme that you might have food-wise?
Yeah, sure. So the other 5 locations we have in Streamwood, Oswego, South Elgin, Carpentersville, and Melrose Park. None of those villages required us to have a sit-down restaurant, very honestly. And we still have a food component. We still have panini sandwiches that we bring in our Streamwood location. But it is not required, and that is why we have not put the food component on our website. But this is our first sit-down restaurants. They all are not sit-down restaurants. They are like a standalone with a small food component, little bit of more gaming, and alcohol, beer and wine. But this restaurant will be focused more on the food component. That is why we have a seating of 38 in the space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the 38 is because there's a requirement for 30 in order to be a restaurant, and then the other ones are the gaming positions. I mean, just to be clear on that. Is this restaurant primarily going to be a restaurant?
Yes. That is our goal. Why we wanted to add gaming is that we have a good experience in gaming so far. We have 5 gaming lounges. We wanted to add that component because of the multiple revenue streams. This is a new concept of a vegetarian food, so we were a little bit of skeptical about it. So multiple revenue stream is going to help our business. That is why we wanted gaming included in our proposal.
Can you go over your your type of kitchen equipment that you'll have there in order to
Yeah, sure.
facilitate?
Yeah, sure. So we have a oven for the pizzas and wraps. We will have a microwaves. We don't have a stove top because that is not required based on our menu. We don't have a hood, which is also not required based on our menu. Also, there is a restriction of, the space for moving, for putting the hood. But that's all we have, yes.
Okay. I noticed on your menu you had some things, I'm not vegan myself, but looked into what that really means. Some of the items that you have on there really aren't considered vegan. So what, how do you,
So this is a vegetarian menu. It's not a vegan menu, but I mean, vegan does not have a cheese, and our sandwiches will have a cheese. However, if our customers are asking for a vegan sandwich, we can make the vegan sandwich with removing the cheese part of it.
okay,
I have a question.
go ahead.
So the only cooking that you'll do in the restaurant is with the microwave? Did I understand that right? Or you'll have a soup pot?
No, we have a soup bar. Yes, we do have a soup. So we have a soup bar. We have a salad bar as well. We use the salads to make our sandwiches and wraps.
Okay.
So there'll be fresh salads to make the sandwiches and wraps. And we will have, tortillas to make
Yeah,
the
that's
wraps. And we will have breads to make the sandwiches. And we are, yeah. go
No, go ahead. So I'm going back to the soup. So the soup that you are making, is it already frozen and you're just going to put it into the pot to warm it?
No, we are going to make the soup there.
But you're not going to have stove?
No, we are not going to have the stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. For the soup, yes, we are going to make the soup and then we'll bring it here.
And you won't need a vent for,
I'm sorry.
you don't think you're going to need a vent for that?
No, so the soup we are not going to make here. We are going to make the soup at our place and then we are going to our manufacturing place and then we are going to bring it here.
So you're just going to warm it up
Just warm it up, correct, correct.
in a double
Yes.
thing? Okay.
Yes, yes. So we have two soups, so it will be in a double container, yes, absolutely.
Are you going to make it at a different location, or?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
we are planning to make it different location, yes, correct.
And are you planning on having gaming machines? Because I'm looking at
Yeah,
two years.
yep.
Okay.
And the gaming area is isolated. It has all four walls, so it's completely a separate area to make sure that no underage person has access to the gaming area. So we have submitted the plan, typical floor plan, along with our application, which has a very separate gaming area.
Yeah, because I see some of the locations, you have gaming like all over there, all over your windows at your other locations. Are you going to, might discourage people and they think it says a gaming place versus a restaurant?
Yeah, so if the village permits us to put the signs on the windows, then we will put it. If village does not permit, then we don't put it.
Yeah.
Because all other places, as I said, the village has allowed us to put the sign on the windows.
There's quite a bit of signs.
So I have a food service background.
Yeah, sure.
So you're going to cook the soup in another location.
Yes.
How do you plan to transport it?
Yeah, so it will be transported in our transport vehicle. It's a very small thing. There is nothing else we are transporting besides the soup.
And
And it will be
refrigerated?
It will be transported with the warmer. It will be transported with the warmer, and then we are going to keep the soup. And it will be daily transported in the morning. That is our plan. So,
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question? I also, I was a food service manager for 12 years prior to becoming a police officer,
sure.
and certified health inspector. When you had to have a certificate. When you transport, are you transporting hot soup, and then you're putting it into a warmer that doesn't heat up
Right.
past? I mean, the soup should be at least 165 degrees when it's in the. I would imagine it's a 2-slot, like a steamer type of. So, is somebody on the site have a food sanitation certificate?
Yes, all our employees will have a food manager certifications.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just, my concern would be when you
Yeah.
transport into a warmer,
Yeah,
it must be, obviously you would know this, a certain
certain
degree,
temperature, exactly.
because it's not going to get any hotter inside the warmer.
Right.
In fact, it's going to cool down in the warmer. And if the setting is not high enough in the steam table, I would personally be concerned about that.
Yeah. So we can relook at our, process to make sure that, we transport this soup element specifically in a way that is aligned with the health and safety. We'll just make sure about it. Absolutely.
I would even have a square stainless steel pan that if you had to heat up the soup, it could go inside the oven.
Right.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Ju-
which location are you going to be transporting this from?
That will be from the Schaumburg location.
I mean, Streamwood?
No, Streamwood, yes.
Okay, so that's about an hour ride.
It's 30 minutes.
And it's about
30 to
it's about
40 minutes,
45 minutes
30 to
because I
40
drive
minutes,
there
yeah.
to my daughter's all the time. So it's about
Yeah.
45 minutes,
Yeah.
almost an hour.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Is there a reason you don't want to do a full kitchen? I mean, Lily's is here, they have a full kitchen, and I always get this backwards, Pavia Pizza or Pizza Pavia?
Pavia.
Pavia Pizza. Beautiful kitchen.
Yeah.
I mean, really nice. For the most part, all our restaurants have
Yeah.
kitchens. I mean,
Yes.
really, nice kitchens. Is this going to be your primary source of income, is the food?
Yes, that is true. That is what we are aiming for,
Okay.
Mayor. Yeah.
Okay. So would you be okay not getting a liquor license for a period of time? I mean, Lily's, how long did you guys go without a liquor license? Couple of years? Yeah. Would that be good?
Actually, that will be, from the business perspective, it may not be a good idea for us. I'll be very honest with you, because as I said, right, that we are looking for a multiple channel revenue at the same time. And starting with just the restaurant with no liquor license, we are not sure about the revenue element of it. So we would request you to,
So you have a volume you think you're going to do in liquor? What kind of volume do you do at your other stores in liquor?
So the other stores we have, there is a different volume. In Melrose Park, we have a little bit of higher volume than, let's say, Oswego, right? But our liquor volume is not as much because we are selling only liquor, beer and wine. We don't have a full liquor. That is another restriction we have.
Do you run specials at the gaming locations with liquor, where there's drink specials, dollar beers?
Typically, sometimes we do dollar beer, but not usually. Well, let's say it's a 4th of July. We had 4th and 5th, we had a dollar beer.
So I think I saw something where you give food away at some of those locations too, where you have, like, if you're playing the video games, you provide food in general for people at the location.
No, we don't.
Okay.
So we provide only the snack items, like chips and sodas for entertainment purpose, but we don't provide the food for free.
So without the liquor license, it wouldn't be viable
We will not be able to survive, let me put it that way.
because of selling liquor?
Because of selling liquor plus the video gaming, because
Okay.
liquor and video gaming both comes hands in hands, right? So that is why we needed all three streams together.
So without gaming, even with liquor, this doesn't really work, right? From your
We might be able to make the break even, but we are
Why
not
would
too
you want to
sure.
make that kind of investment if you weren't sure it would work?
With the investment is with the video gaming, sir.
Okay.
Right? So with the video gaming, I think that we should be able to, survive in a better way because of, anyways, the multiple gyms we have.
Are you opposed to coming back with a full type restaurant location where you would have your walk-in coolers? Because I noticed on your drawing, on the sketch, I wouldn't call it a drawing because I don't think you would still need to do drawings in order
Yes, correct.
to get this done. But you don't have a walk-in cooler in the back, you don't have, there's a mop sink, there's a hand sink, there's something called kitchen storage.
Yeah.
It doesn't quack or walk like a duck, so it's hard for me to say that this is a restaurant if it doesn't have what I'm used to seeing as a restaurant, Lily's or Pavia Pizza or any of the other restaurants we have in town.
Right. So the difference is the menu, sir. So the vegetarian menu that we have does not require those kind of heavy equipments. Plus, there is landlord restrictions of putting the hood, which is anyways not required for our kind of a menu, and that is why you don't see it.
I mean, even the name doesn't talk about what you're doing there as far as the type of food you're providing.
So that is something.
I'm just trying to figure it
No,
out.
no,
If
I understand.
you're here to get a video gaming cafe and wish you didn't have to do the food part, honesty is, to me, the best way to go. It sounds like without the video gaming, there's not going to be enough revenue, like you talked about your multi-channel
Yes,
revenue
correct.
sources. There wouldn't be enough to do it.
Correct. And that is why we require a multi-channel revenue, right, to survive, as I said. About the name, because we already have these 5 locations with the same name, we would like to continue with, the same branding of the local businesses, and that is why we have kept the same name. On all other cafes, we do have video gaming lounge as a sign. But because this is a restaurant, we are not going to even propose that sign. It will be just a Fortunes.
Because I love the
Cafe,
idea of a
yeah.
restaurant coming in town, but if it doesn't feel like or look like or can't operate like one without video gaming, which brings the liquor license into place, because what do you need to have video gaming? A vegetarian food or what?
It's a restaurant basically, and the vegetarian food is just because, honestly, I am vegetarian and I would like to promote vegetarian food even to my family as well, and that is why we have selected the vegetarian menu. But again, based on the menu, this may not look, the kitchen may not look like the full-fledged kitchen, but that is the equipment that we require to cook whatever we have mentioned in the menu. And any day, any customer comes in, the entire menu will be available, and that I can guarantee.
But it's not meant, I hate to keep hammering you with questions, but if you open a restaurant, it's not meant to have food available, right? I mean, that's an odd thing to say. Pavia Pizza didn't say we're going to have pizza available,
Yeah.
right? They pride themselves on their stone oven and they make pizzas. Lily prides themselves on what they do and what they make.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just,
No, it has, I'm just, because I felt that you need some kind of affirmation about operating a restaurant, so this is going to be operated as a restaurant. That is what I wanted to affirm.
which I want
Yes,
the restaurant.
exactly.
But,
Yeah,
I don't know that you have to have a liquor license to operate a vegetarian restaurant. So I just, from my standpoint, I know I don't vote here, but we have video gaming cafes and to me, I love the idea of a restaurant with video gaming and a liquor license, but when I think of that, I think of Pavia Pizza or any of our other restaurants in town. So my fear is that's not what this is going to be.
so and we have opened this business since 2019. What I personally have experienced is the people who play on the machines are not the people who would like to have food. I'll be very honest, and this is my own experience. And the people who would like to have a food with kids and family, they don't come and gamble. That's a two separate, kind of customer levels, right? And we would like to satisfy both the customers. So what I mean is that the people who will come to play, we just want to give them entertainment to play and plus the revenue. But what I anticipate is the customers with children and kids for the restaurant part, which is completely separate. So there might be some overlap, but I don't expect that to be a big one. I mean, again, that's based on my experience.
Any other questions?
I don't know, I'm having an issue with, you're gonna make pizzas, there's no oven. I'm having an issue with no refrigerator in the kitchen. Even, you do have a beverage cooler, you know, but I have a huge problem with no refrigerator in the back, because if you're gonna make, you know, sandwiches and stuff like that, you know, you gotta have somewhere to put it. You just can't keep it out or transport it from one location to this location. You know what I'm saying? I mean, usually kitchens have a refrigerator in, the sketch that I see here
that-
does not, you just have a beverage cooler.
There has to be a refrigerator. We actually have refrigerators at all the locations. I'm just trying to see that where is my fault to put the refrigerator.
Yeah, because it looks like you have the
Oh, we have a
under
oven.
counter beverage cooler, 2 of them. And that's over,
There has to be a refrigerator. I think we are missing
by the
it
coffee
from the
maker,
back.
by the oven, air fryer.
Yeah.
I mean, I have an issue with no refrigerator.
No, you are right, actually, and it may be a mistake in the layout. There has to be a refrigerator in the back side, but it is not shown here. We have to have a refrigerator. We cannot
Yeah,
not
definitely.
have the refrigerator. I
Yeah,
agree with you.
yeah, it's just
I
not
completely agree with you, yeah. And all our locations have refrigerators, even though, you know, some of them does not have a food concept. Even for the cheese sticks or what, we just keep that refrigerator when we serve in the other location, what I'm saying. So,
And then for
yes, the refrigerator will be there.
Okay. And where would you be making the pizzas at?
Pizzas will be here. We have an oven,
Where's that? gonna be?
convection oven, it's shown here.
The convection oven?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Next to the
And we
coffee
have a-
maker in the freezer?
And we have an air fryer, and we have a panini maker as well.
So is the freezer gonna go right in front of the convection oven?
No, the freezer
Unless I'm
is,
seeing- am I seeing that?
the freezer is going to go in the
Yeah, because
back.
it looks like you're having the freezer right in front of the oven.
Well, they're
in front
just
of the oven.
both pointed to the same
Oh, that's
location.
under, yes, I see it now. It's
Yeah.
under, you found, you found my
That'd
freezer.
be a little
You
weird.
found my freezer, thank you. Yeah, it is under the counter. It is under the counter. It has to have it, yeah.
What,
It
the
is under
freezer's
the-
underneath the counter?
Yeah,
So-
freezer is under the counter, yes. It is under the counter freezer, and on the counter, we have a coffee machine, convection oven, and air fryer.
No.
That is
You
on
would really
on the
put-
top of the counter.
Would you put a freezer underneath the convection
Well,
oven?
If I could just make a quick comment. Well, first of all, on that, an under-the-counter freezer is a pretty small freezer for a restaurant. And I share some of the same concerns, and we don't mean to nitpick on all of this, but, I mean, you mentioned you have seating capacity for 38, I think you said, and the minimum is 30, but seating capacity does not make a location a restaurant. It's the restaurant that makes it a restaurant.
Yes,
And
I
it
agree.
sounds to me
I
that
agree.
there's not quite enough here to make it a restaurant. It's more like video gaming and some snacks when people get hungry, or a pizza. Would you be willing to update some of this before the next meeting and presentation? Such as you said, well, yeah, maybe we do need a refrigerator, that's a mistake, and just something that would make it more of a restaurant. Because as our mayor said, we all want to see a nice restaurant
Yeah,
come into town.
absolutely.
And when they do, I have no problem with a liquor license and gaming added on top of that, but
Sure.
it should be a restaurant first.
Sure.
And it doesn't seem like this is quite a restaurant. It's, well, we have some snacks and wraps, and we have a panini maker. I have a panini maker at my house.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it a restaurant. Even if I have 38 chairs in my living room, it doesn't make that a restaurant.
Yeah.
So would you be willing to kind of update this plan in some way? And I can't suggest how you do that, but to make it appear that it is a restaurant first. And you mentioned early on that that is your first priority.
Yeah.
And if you could make some updates to that, I think that would be a help to us.
Sure, no, definitely, we can do that. We'll make those changes in the plans as you requested, and then maybe we can present it again. Is that something what you would like to
At the
see?
next meeting, or we can do it, you know, down the line, whenever you get it done, so.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Would you consider making soup at this location instead of transporting it and making it like a real restaurant where you actually cook there?
We can definitely consider that, absolutely.
That'd be nice.
that kind of starts to bring this into the vision of actually being in a
Yes.
restaurant.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Just for the alderman's ID, all the food and kitchen equipment and equipment he will have to have will be National Food Service rated. They do go through a full process of presenting their plans on everything that gets reviewed by our licensed environmental health inspector. We do have other restaurants in town that do use commissary services where it's made off premise and brought in. So that's not a new concept. And we do it. It would have to be procedured, and it will be looked at from our standpoint prior to any approvals. Just to let you know that it's not new, and we do have procedures to address those.
Yeah, I appreciate that, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so this was not, there's no vote on this today, it was just a first reading, so if you can get back with Dan and
Sure.
and work everything out. Would you open before the video gaming came in, before the switches were flipped on the gaming as a restaurant?
Sorry.
Would
say
you
that again?
open before the gaming is, I know there's a big gap between,
Yes,
between getting approvals
Yeah.
and the game showing up.
absolutely. Yeah.
And, you know, would you open the restaurant?
Yes.
Before?
Yes, we are willing to, yes, absolutely.
Would you commit to opening it for a period of time before?
So as long as, the restaurant is ready to open, we will open it. We are not going to wait for the video gaming to come in. That's
mean,
what
because-
you wanted, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's not a lot to do there before it would be ready to open. I
Yeah.
mean, most of the equipment's just rolling.
Yep.
Right, refrigerator and
Yep. So
cooktops.
that will be a build out, which is nice restaurant build out, which takes about, in our experience, it takes about 3 to 4 months at least to build it out. And I think the plan approval process will also take about maybe a few weeks, I guess. So once the approval is made, we are talking about 6 months, I guess, to start the restaurant.
Okay. Well, thank you. And-
Sure.
And you'll reach out to him, or he'll reach out to you?
We'd stay in contact.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Will. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time. Thank you so much.
Okay. That is all of the new business. Item 10 is staff and elected officials and commission reports. Why don't we start with staff? Any staff reports? Am I right? Public Works?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have 5 quick things. 2 weeks ago at Wolf and Old Willow Road, there was a sanitary sewer collapse. The road was closed for a couple days while it was determined. The road has been reopened. They had planned on doing the work last week and then this week, and now it's been delayed again for another week. Illinois American is working with MWRD. Currently, the intersection is open. There's steel plates over the problemed area. So there's not an urgent fix. It's just there's some barricades and stuff laying around waiting for them to do the work. So just kind of a heads up. We were asked about that today, and I talked to the gentleman that's going to be doing the work, but their manpower issue and a couple of things going on, so it's not urgent. It fell from the urgent category when they did their temporary patch. So that's what's going on down there. As a reminder, Wolf Road is going to be closed at the railroad tracks starting Saturday, the 15th, through the following Saturday, the 22nd. The railway and IDOT are working together to replace that section of crossing, so it's going to have a little disruption in the area, just kind of a remember about that. Our last council meeting, we had a resident who talked to us with a couple concerns. One of them was Sanders Road, the turn from Palatine Road to Sanders. That's in Glenview. We referred that to IDOT for them to take a look at. One of his other questions was about the Prospect Heights bike path where it crosses 83. I did find IDOT has reviewed it. That information is in our engineer's hands right now. But at that time, there was some signage updates to bring it up to code, a pre-warning, then the warning of the bike path with a down arrow, and the crossing was repainted at that time. There are other optional things that could be addressed over there, but at this time, that's the status of the crosswalk. We're looking into it, but at this point, it does meet the current standards, what's going on over there. Someone asked if we'd install a bridge over 83, the bike path. I'm sure if the right funding was in place, that'd be outstanding, but not at this time. And the last thing he brought up was natural gas vehicles. This is going to be quick. Compressed natural gas vehicles are great. They do produce less emissions than a regular vehicle, gas or diesel. The drawbacks for us as a city is it's very expensive to get into that game. The closest refueling place is just on the north side of O'Hare, so it's about 8 miles from here. We just did fuel tanks at Public Works. Our provider there, I talked to him in detail about compressed natural gas, and he goes, yeah, you know, start with about 400,000 and work your way up to put in our own distribution station. The gas line has to be upsized. There has to be a large compressor, a tank to hold the gas, because they go from the normal NICOR pressure up to about 3,000 or 3,500 PSI for us to deploy it into a vehicle. Vehicles range $10,000 to $20,000 to upgrade. For Public Works wise, we have 2 vehicles that are 2019s, a 2017, and half a dozen 2012s, and then everything else is older. So upgrading a vehicle that's 10 years old to natural gas is a poor investment. Economy of scale, we just don't have the fleet to do it. On the police department side, I've sat through many meetings and talks about compressed natural gas and electric, and in larger cities where they have a different dynamic, electric vehicles are coming into play for patrol and things like that. Our officers, kind of hot seat cars, you know, that one shift they'll use a car for 12 hours and the next shift will take that car over. There's not a lot of spare vehicles that can be used for patrol. And the electric isn't quite there yet, at least what we've been going through. For staff cars and spare, you know, other vehicles for the police department, Public Works, and staff, we currently use the hand-me-downs from squad cars that already have 80, 100,000 miles on them. So we're not buying new, sorry, Dan, we're not buying new building service or building department vehicles or code enforcement vehicles. We're using the leftover cars that we've already paid for. So yes, we could probably do a little bit better on fuel economy if we had electric vehicles here at City Hall, but we don't have to put out the X number of dollars to purchase the vehicle. So that payoff just isn't there. So we've done a lot of looking into it. We're definitely interested in alternative fuels, but at this point, the infrastructure and everything just isn't quite there for us to get into that game yet. So that's kind of the heads up on that. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other staff?
Just a quick update. A couple weeks ago, everybody knows. Everybody is aware we had the fire at the shopping center at Elmhurst and Hintz. I spoke with the property representative this morning. They have had their casualty risk engineering firms in there. They're in the process of updating structural reports and a remediation plan. On Friday last week, their insurance adjusters met with all the business insurance representatives to have them go through their properties and start making their claims. At this point in time, they expect anywhere from 10 to 14 days to get the initial restoration or assessment reports from their engineer. From them, there we'll be able to see what the proposals are from the engineers on how they're going to remediate that building, whether it's demolition, whether there's remodel, whether there's just some cleaning and salvaging. But that's the update I have as of today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for the record, Treasurer Tibbetts had asked Deputy Clerk Schulteis to read into the record, I believe it's in a second appeal of the discontinuance of the Zoom. I believe he's spoken to all the council members. But in speaking with Mayor Ludvigsen, we're just going to hold off on this rather than turn Karen into a proxy. And then when Treasurer Tibbetts comes back, he can direct the council again. So,
Thank you. Any other staff members with reports? Chief? No? Elected officials to my left, anybody have any report? Elected to the right? No? I would just like to say about the parade, I rode with Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky. It was a very neat hour and a half to ride with a sitting congresswoman and shoot the breeze with her, and it was, if you know me well, you know that that's like, to me, a kid in a candy store for me. I mean, it was very exciting, very neat, and I talked her ear off, so it was fun. I appreciate what she's done for our town, our city, and it was a good event. Other than that, next item on the agenda is comments or questions. Oh, no, we'll do the approval of warrants first.
Okay, we have a total of $396,079.54. We have a 6/30/2023 payroll of $176,789 for a total warrant of $572,868.54.
Need a motion to approve?
So moved. Morgan Adams?
Second?
We have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Alderman Cameron,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 12, public comment on non-agenda matters. Did anybody submit a request?
No, Mayor.
Anybody here have any comments about anything not on the agenda? No? Item 13, executive session. We will not have an executive session. And item 15, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.